So I will just give the some brief description of what is a Docker. So Docker is an open platform for developing and shipping and running the application. With the Docker, you can separate your application from your structure and treat your infrastructure like managed application. Docker helps you to ship a code faster, test faster, deploy faster, and shorten the cycle between writing a code and running a code. So Docker does the by combining kernel containerization and feature with the workflow and tooling that help you manage and deploy your application. So Docker container can be directly used in Kubernetes, which allow them to run in a Kubernetes engine with else. And after learning essential Docker, you will have a skill set to start deploying Kubernetes and containerized application. Okay. So what is the objective of this lab? So this lab will learn, you will learn how to build, run and debug your Docker container, then pull the Docker image from Docker Hub and Google Artifact Registry, how you can pull it, and push the Docker image to the GCP artifact like a Google Artifact Registry, where it's maintaining your versionings and all those things. So uh, no prerequisite required for this. This is an introductory level, so you can go ahead with this lab only. So yeah. Okay, let's start with the lab. Um, this is a lab which is conducted by the Quick Labs, and I'm going to use the authorized user and password for them. So let's go and have the uh, console ready for this. I just authorize my system here. Yeah, so console is ready. Um, you can just check the auth list, and there is a list of project you can check. So okay, so what the first task we can have some simple basic like hello world. In a cloud shell, enter the following command to run the hello world container to get started. So just simple as that, so that you can start with this docker run hello world. So he just if you see the logs of these, you can see that, yeah, so you can see it's not able to fetch the hello world locally, so it's pulling from library. It's pull completed, download completed, then download the new image from hello world. This is already present hello world in a docker hub. You pull from there, and then you just use this image in your local content, use in your local system. So the simple container returns hello world docker, and while the command is simple, and notice in the output of the number of steps is performed, the docker daemon search for hello world image and did not find the image locally. Yeah, and then pull the image from uh, registry from called as the docker hub, and create a container that from that image and run the container for you. Okay, so if I what I can do is I will just run the following command. I will docker image. I just clear this out, and I just run the docker image. You can see the hello world. These are the image you can see. Yep. So this image is pulled from the docker hub public registry, and then the image id you can see is in SHA-256 hash format, and this field specifies the docker image that's been provisioned. When the docker daemon can't find the image locally, it will by default search the public registry for the image. So uh, if I trying to run the container again, if you see, I'm using docker run and then hello world, you can see it's find in local. Okay, the docker daemon finds the image in your local registry and then run the container from that image. It does not have to pull the image from the docker hub. So if I do docker ps, what this do is the uh, if you see there is no running container, you already existed the hello world container you previously run. So in order to see all the container including ones that is finished the execution, we can use this with the ps. We can use /a, so we can see the uh, the container ID, and then UUID is generated by Docker to identify the container and more metadata from that run. The containers names are also randomly generated but can be specified with the Docker run / name, then your container name, and then hello world. So yeah, so this is how it's works. So you can see the timing of this when it's created uh, and when it's ended, right? This is a container ID, this is image name, um, and this is your time of ending it. So now what we learn here is we just pull the image and run that image in the container using docker run container. So what this do docker run is it will be uh, just if it is not present in locally, it will go into docker hub and get it that image, and then run the container for that image. So separate some environment and it will run that image in that container, and then if you it's just printing something, right? So it just run and then exist from there. So to check the running container, you use the ps, and if you want to check the all the finished executed finished job or finished containers, you can use /a. Okay, so now second section, in this section you will build a docker image that's based on a simple node node application and execute the we can I will give some command that we can execute it and to create and switch into a folder a name called as test. So what we can do, we can just clear it this out. Okay, so which are mkdir is used to create a folder, and then we after creating folder we can go inside that folder. Okay, cool. If you do ls, you are in test. Okay, so now what we can do, we create some docker file. This is a file inside the docker daemon on how to build your image. Okay, so what I can do is I can some um, create one docker file. So yeah, um, so now I can give some. I have already have that one docker file. I just give that docker file. Mm, yeah, so I have pasted this docker file over here. Cool. Okay, so I will extend line by line. The initial line specifies the base parent image, which in this case is the official Docker image for node version long-term supports. So in the second line, you set the working that is current directory of the container, and in the third line, uh, this one, and yeah, in the third line you can uh, you add the current directory content indicated by the dot and into the container. Okay. Now and then expose the container to a container port so it can accept the connection on that port, and finally run the node command to start the application. Okay, I will repeat once again what this Docker file will do. So this first line, what this do is like, right? So uh, yeah, so it will official Docker image from node version, long-term support. So this is official Docker image, okay, which used for the node that it gets pulled based, that is a initial line specifies is this one, that the base parent image, which in this case is the official Docker image for node version. And in the second you will set the working, that is current directory of the container. Okay, so this is your current directory. You set the working directory in the container to app, then copy the current directory content into the container at app. So whatever is the current directory, copy the current directory content into the container at this app. Okay, and then in the third, you add the current directory contents, that dot. Uh, so it is setting the current working directory in the container to app. This is your working directory, and then all the content will uh, current directory content indicated by this dot will be into the container, that is this. You will adding the whatever is a content, okay, current directory content into this app directory, because app is your working directory in the container to app, okay, working directory. And then expose, okay, you add the current directory content, and then expose the container port so it can accept the connection on that port. Finally run the command to start the application. So this is a command, run app.js using a node when the container launches. So this is your command, like um, okay. Now you will just, you have created your application and run the app.js using a node command uh, uh, when the container launches. So what is the app.js? Okay, that I will give you. So this is something, uh, one already written code from my side. This is, I will just execute this one. This is app.js which is run by this container, okay, in the container code. Okay, uh, okay. So you are in a test directory. From all the test directory I have created this dot app.js, right. So in the test only I have created an app.js, and uh, will okay, this is just a HTTP server is on a port 8080, returns hello world, and then uh, uh, the dot, which means the current directory. So you need to run this command from within the directory that has a Docker file. Okay, now we need to build the image. How we need to build the image? Uh, so this is a dot. I am also understanding as I am explaining to you. So let's understand together. So what is going to saying is, we need to, I'm just open on the other window some commands, and I'm trying to figure out how to we need to deploy it. I have just created some JS application and trying to use, and I'm to explaining you so that we both can understand together. So now note that there is a dot, right? So what that dot, which means current directory. Okay, so you need to run this command, like docker build command, from within the directory that has a docker file. Where is the docker file? Docker file is in this test directory. Okay, so once when we run this command, docker build /t node app colon 0.1. Okay, so what this mean? It will build docker build. What it will do, it will read your file, docker file, and uh, it will build your docker file. It will in the container, it will set the app directory, whatever is a content, right? App.js, it will push to that app and expose the AT and then run your app.js file. So this is how it will do, or docker build /t uh, node app, whatever application you want to give, you can give it. Okay, okay. So once I want to enter it, so I'm entering it. It is just what it is doing, it is following this process. And uh, okay, uh, till now I will explain what this thing is. The T which we have mentioned over here is to name and tag an image with the name colon tag syntax. The name of the image is a node app, and then tag is point 0.1, 0.1, which I have mentioned here. This is the name of the image, and this is your tag name point 0.1. And the tag is highly recommended when the building a Docker image. If you don't specify the tag will default to the latest, and it becomes more difficult to distinguish a newer image from the older ones. And also notice how each line in the Docker file above result in intermediate container layer as the image is a build. Okay, so is this completed? Okay, now we run the following command like docker image and to look at the image you build. Yeah, if I do this docker images, I am seeing my image is getting created. uh, some space is taken, some content sizes is taking, and falana, some of the things are there. So node is the base image. Okay, and uh, node app is your is the image you build. You can't remove the node uh, without removing the node app first. The size of the image is relatively small compared to VMs and other latest other versions of node images such as node colon slim and node colon alpine can give you even smaller image for easier probability. The topic slimming down container size is more exploring the advanced topic. I will do those later. Okay. um cool. Now we need to run the image, right? So uh, the image are getting created. You have build the image. Now we need to run the image, right? So to run the image, we can use this simple command docker run p/p/p 4000 colon 80. Name is my app, and node app point one, whatever is the image name. Okay, so this name flag uh, allows you to name the container. So this is your container name if you like, and then let's instruct the docker to map the host port 4000 to the container port 80. We give the 80 container port. If you remember above, there is a container port we have given, right? Container port 80 is available for outside world. So this is a 80 is a container port. Now we are saying that the uh, when we are hitting 4000, it will map to the container which is in on a 80. So this is your external and this is your container port. Okay, now you can reach the server at localhost 4000 without port mapping. uh, you would not be able to reach the container at localhost. Hmm, cool. Now I will just run this image. It's saying server running at 80. Cool. Now I will just create another terminal from here and simply hit this 4000. Let's see how it goes. Hello world. The container will run as long as the initial terminal is running. Okay, this first one. And if you want the container to run in the background, not tied to the terminal session, you just more or specify /d flag, which is detach mode, and simple as it is. So yeah, so you can close it and somewhere do anything else tasks, nothing matters. And then close the initial terminal and then run the following command which I give you to stop and remove the container. If I do this one and if I stop my app and remove my app, let's say what it will provide you. Okay, and now run the for to start the container in the background. Let's see how it goes. You just provide your uh, container name /d. This is your image name, and uh, this is 4000 is connected to the your container, uh, and this is mode running in the detached mode. Okay, so let's see docker ps. So this is how you can see. Now if you notice the container is running in the output of docker ps, you can look at the logs by executing docker logs and then container id. So docker logs and provide your container id and blah. There is no logs currently. Okay, if this is how it works. Okay, now the modify the application. Okay, so uh, I can go to test folder and then we just edit our server and do some modification using a text editor and home and replace the hello world. Let's ls it and then use some vim.js, and if I go here and yeah, so just replacing something else. Oops. Hmm. Cool. Now just saving it. Oops. Cool. Now I will try to build again with the second version. Build slash t doc with the second version, and then it will get with the step 2 that you are using the existing cache layer from step 3 and on. Um, now, if you notice in step 2 that you are using an existing caching layer, okay, and from step 3 and on, the layers are modified because you have made the changes in app.js. So some while building, it is using some cache layers, and whatever changes it will try to rebuild it, so it will not rebuild your application though. Run another container with the new image version. Okay. Oh fuck, what's happened? Why is asking for password though? Cool. Now run the another container with the new image version, and notice how we map the host 8080 instead of 80, and you can't use host port 4000 because it's already in use. So try to run this docker. I just clear it out so that you can it's very visible. So I will just run docker run sp 8080 colon 80, then I can give some name across it, which is this is my container name, my app, and then dash 2, and then uh, dash this for detached mode, and then there is a second version of image which we recently build, right? Docker build slash d node app colon 0.2. So this is your second version, so we use that second version image, not your first version image, and that is used for the second container, and the port is also different. Okay, so if I run this one and then let's see how it's work. Cool. Now trying for docker ps, which is give you the running containers, and voila, this is coming. This is a docker image, this is a docker container, the container name, second container is running, this is your first image, this is your first container, this is your second container which is running on different port, and this is your image, and this is what else, this is your container id both has, and this is your second container name. Cool, great, nice. Let's try, let's test the 8080 now. Ooh, wow, welcome to cloud. Cool. And if I try to run this one, it will give your hell over two image running on different containers. Okay, now if you uh, debugging, right, you know about, I'm uh, assuming you know the debugging somehow, and you are familiar with building and running the container right now. Go over the some debugging practice. Okay, how we can debug the thing in the container. You can look at the logs of a container using docker logs container id that I have already given you the command, and if you want to follow the logs output as a container is running, use the slash f option. So while running the container, you can run this command, right? I can provide some docker container ID. Can what I can do is I can use this command over here, docker slash f, and then the for second one I can use this container ID. There is no log though, but yeah. Now sometimes you will want to start the interactive bash session inside the running container. So you can use docker exec command to do this, and then open another terminal, and then we can use this command uh, to use these things. Yeah. So I just copy container ID from here, and then I need this container ID for that one. Okay, dot exec it, and then your container ID and your bash. So let's see it go inside your container. App is your working directory as we mentioned in the docker file, right? So it flags means it let you interact with container by allocating sudo ttl tty and keeping the is standard open, and notice the bash run in the working directory uh, like slash app and specify in the docker file. From here you can now interact with the shell session inside the container to debug. If I run this ls, what will happen? It will give a .js file and docker file. Cool. And let's now exit from here. I got one more command. Let's try what this will do. Inspect then your container ID. Um, sorry. Hmm. Oh, they are saying this is a metadata. Like you can examine the containers metadata in Docker by using this inspect command. I am. Let's see what is this app.js image. A lot of configuration, I guess. There is one more command though. Let me try that one. Some formatting. Let's try this one. I guess copy that container ID. Since regarding inspect, I'm not sure. I mean, it's giving some your machine's details and all those things. But yeah, we are not much interested over here. Okay, now the final task we have, right? We need to publish into the artifact registry. Okay, going to push your image into the Google artifact registry. Something similar to S3, but not something similar to S3. It's containing as a version. It will save it as a version. Okay, after that you will remove all the container images and images to simulate the fresh environment, and then pull and run your container, and this will demonstrate the portability of your Docker container. And to push the images to your private registry hosted by artifact registry, you need to tag the image with a registry name, and the format is like something similar to region, uh, something like this. Okay, I will show you those things. Okay, Mm, let's do that, and then together we can see how it is goes. Okay. You must create the repository before you can push any images to it, and publishing an images can't trigger the creation of repository, and the cloud build service account does not have the permission to create a repository. Okay, so let's say uh, we don't have the access of it, I think so. So let's go to the under say cd. Okay, let's ci underscore cd. No, cicd, where is that? Can I directly search for this artifact registry? Because I want that one only. Okay, create repository. I will give this as a my repository as the repository name, and then Docker as a format. Okay, then under the location type, select the region and then choose your uh, region. Let's say we have Europe, West for, and I will just create it where to create it, where to create this repo. Okay, cool. Now, before pushing and pulling the image, configure Docker to use the Google Cloud CLI to authenticate a request to artifacts registry. To set up the authentication to Docker repositories in the region, these run the following command. Okay, it's saying to run me this command. I am not sure why it's saying this because I am already authenticated though. Command update your Docker configuration. So why I have run this command? Okay, I will show the command. gcloud auth configure docker Europe West for docker pkg.dev. Your config file contains the following credentials, a helper entry. Before push and pull images, configure Docker to use CLI, Google Cloud का CLI, to authenticate request to artifact registry. You can't push the Docker to use the means you need to push the image right to the artifact registry. For that, you need to configure Docker to use the CLI to authenticate request to artifact registry. Because CLI authenticated uh, for pushing the image. So with this command, he is saying to Docker to use the CLI auth configure Docker command update your Docker configuration, and you can now connect with artifact registry in your G, Google Cloud project to push and pull the images. Or else you can use a Gcloud CLI for streaming command line approach. Streaming the command line approach. But the thing is, you need to authenticate. There is some authentication required to push the Docker image to artifact registry. So for that reason, we have done this one. Okay, let's move forward. Run the following command to create an artifact registry using CLI, but I already done those one. Okay. Let's do uh, build the image. Run the following are to tag node to app version. Docker build /t euro place this one. This is your my repo, and then this one your container image, I guess. And then if I run this one, fail to build, fail to solve, fail to read Docker file, open Docker file. Okay, first I need to go to test directory where my Docker file is exist, and then I will run this one. Mm, this is something your Docker image and node app. This is your image name. Okay, this whole is your image name Europe or something something till node app, and then point to is a version name. If I Docker image, if I do, then I can see that this image name is created, and to push the image to artifact registry, simply we can use Docker push and this image name. Okay, just this like this Docker push. This is pushing. Okay, now I am able to push the image, and then if I see in the repository, I'm able to see this node app is coming over here. This is just now it's created. So this is created over here. You can start the new VM messages into the VM, install the gcloud, um, and for simplicity just remove the all container in the image to simulate the fetch environment. Um, so you know right how we have built this one. So, but using Docker push, it will how it is. I'm confused. Okay, to where it's getting pushed though, and now it is get pushed to only that artifact registry. Okay, so you have given some that image name though, I guess. Set a organization to Docker repository in the region. Just run the following on to cloud shell. Command update your Docker configuration, and you can now connect the command update your Docker configuration. So that gcloud auth configure Docker to this. You can now connect with artifact registry in gcloud project to push and pull the images. So you give that build image name and you give the push, right? Whenever you give the push, it will go to that artifact registry. Okay, means it just deploy there. That's it. What I can do, I just stop this one. Let docker stop docker ps/q, and then remove that everything. Remove the child image of node, and before you remove the old images, run the following command to remove all the docker images. So this is removing your that point to version image. Then this is your removing your docker its image. No, it's I don't know why it's saying this. Then this image, then docker images if I see nothing. Then pull the image and run it. You should have the sudo fresh environment. If I run docker run 4080 this one point 2, I have from the this is from artifact. I'm unable to find this, so pulling from this quick labs my repository and then node app. So from pulling from this artifact registry. Okay, this is your artifact registry, my repository node app. It's from here you are pulling this one, and then if I run this one, uh, 4000 it's giving me this one, right? So that's all you can say. It's getting pulled from artifact registry. You need to give this URL. Yeah. So thanks everyone to join here. Um, I will just stop the recording.